There is a stigma around STIs. Even with perfect hygiene, people are still getting UTIs. Especially Black women have been subjected. They've been used, they've been studied, they've been cut open and experimented on without consent. Period pain is normal, but period pain that interferes with your daily life is not. What if the reason you haven't gotten answers isn't because your body is broken, but because the system was never built to listen to you? Welcome to G Chats. Hi guys, welcome back to G Chats with your host Gianna Jara here in the G spot. Clearly you guys can tell that it's dark outside. I have my studio light on, so I'm sorry if the lighting isn't how it normally is, but today's been a crazy day. If you guys didn't watch the last episode, I talked about how I was sick in the last episode, or not sick, but recovering. So I was sick a week ago and I'm usually ahead of my film schedule. So this week I'm trying to catch up. So I'm doing 2 episodes or recording 2 episodes this week now that I'm back into it. However, with that being said, that means that I kind of have to plan for filming and some other things take a little bit of priority with like running with Meraki Co. So I ended up filming late at night, but this video is a chill one and it's a fun one. I'm not mad at having to do the filming at night because it's just a casual one. This episode is going to be me reacting to products being used on the internet, a few viral videos. I have not watched any of these. My team put these together, so I'm going to review them, watch them live with you guys, and we are going to get my opinions and my thoughts as your biomedical engineering big sister who studies female reproductive health. So without further ado, let's get right into it. I don't want to waste any time. Video number 1.
Hey girls, let me show you my hygienic reset for down there after my period ends. You can do this either on the last day of your period or the day after. I start off my shower routine the same as normal, using my unfragrant soap to really cleanse my body, because this is still a normal shower with just a little bit more attention placed onto your feminine area. Once you're done with that layer, you're gonna go in with a feminine wash. The PhD foam wash is my absolute favorite.
Okay, I think that this is a good stopping point first. I kind of don't like the start of the video because it's kind of framing this is the reset after my period. I don't know how to say this, but your body does not need like a reset, a rebalancing, or anything of that kind of rhetoric post period. Your period is the reset. Obviously, you can be cautious of your hygiene while you're on your period because there's blood, there's more fluid, and whatever you choose to use, whether that's a tampon or a pad. So for example, I'm a pad girly. Like I use pads all the time and I'm more conscious and aware of my pads, and I'm going through a lot of pads because I don't want the blood to dry up. So I'm very aware of my hygiene while I'm on my period, but my cleansing routine doesn't change because I use a cleanser, Barrier Bar, with Meraki Co.'s feminine cleanser. I use Barrier Bar every single day of my cycle. That doesn't change. Like it is a product that I can use throughout my entire cycle. I don't need to add extra things because period blood is dirty. I don't need to add antibacterial soaps or like special cleansers because I'm on my period. My normal feminine cleanser is enough. So she starts off using Dr. Bronner's unscented, like I think it's like the baby soap version. I know that Dr. Bronner's is kind of a touchy subject for a lot of people because some people swear by Dr. Bronner's. I mean, they love Dr. Bronner's down. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't love Dr. Bronner's because it is a Castile soap. And if you guys didn't know, Castile soap does have a higher pH. Now that isn't horrible. However, if you are someone who's concerned with any kind of body odor, I'm not talking, let's forget about the vulvar area. I'm talking body odor in general. So under your boobs, under your armpits, your feet, your skin, what a lot of people don't realize, has an acid mantle. And that acid mantle is important to support because if the pH is elevated on your skin, then it creates a more favorable environment for odor to be bred. I think a lot of people don't know that. And traditional soaps like Castile soaps do have higher pH levels, and I think that that contributes to a lot of the odor that people tend to notice. So I personally use an acidic body wash on my entire body except for the vulva. I obviously don't get it there. When I'm obviously rinsing, it goes over my pubic bone and stuff, but it's not all up into the folds or none of that. And I've been actually loving right now the Prequel glycolic cleanser. I think that's what it's called. It's the glycolic one. I've been swearing by it. I absolutely love it. I was using Naturium for quite a bit of time, but I stopped using it. Susan Yara, the founder, was seen posting vacation photos in Israel, which honestly is insane because, first of all, the beach, the background, everything was like ugly. It was just, she wanted us to know that she was in Israel. It was like a disgusting post to make. And then I think I saw people saying that she had posted a reel of like a blush or something that she was wearing, and it was in the shade Unbothered. So like, she doesn't care. She's cold-hearted, she's evil, vile, whatever. And I know so many people, and we're going on a tangent now, but so many people were like, oh my God, she sold the brand. Who cares? Like, I care. That doesn't matter. I'm a founder. I'm a CEO. If there's a world where in however many years I sold with Meraki Co., if I'm still tied to the brand in some way, the way that Susan Yara is, it doesn't change the fact that I'm representing the brand. She, yes, did sell the brand. However, if I understand correctly in the exchange or whatever they decided on, she is to an extent still affiliated with the brand. She is still the face of the brand. And that is the case for many brands. Think of, for example, Hailey Bieber sold Rhode Cosmetics to e.l.f., but Hailey remains the face of Rhode. She is the face of Rhode Beauty. So like, that hasn't changed, you know? So just because Susan Yara sold the company and sold the brand, it doesn't matter. There's obviously terms in there where she is the face of the brand or tied to the brand to some degree. She literally, in those images on the beach, quite literally has the Naturium lip balms like in the carousel. So she's like actively promoting her own brand that she grew on this beach of this government that is committing a genocide against my people, because I'm Arab. I'm an Arab woman. So that's a whole nother story in itself. My point in all of that is that I've always used for quite a bit of time now an acidified body wash, and I was loving the glycolic acid one by Naturium. I also used their mandelic acid one. I will be honest, the glycolic was better in my opinion. I loved it. So glycolic acid is the ingredient for my skin that I feel like my skin loves. I don't really notice much with mandelic acid. I don't think my skin cares for mandelic acid, if I'm being completely honest. I don't notice the difference with mandelic acid. So I love glycolic acid, and the Prequel body wash also does, and it's the one that you could use on your body and face. I use it on my face as well. That cleanser also has a pH, I think, of 4.5, it says on the bottle, and it's also acidified with glycolic acid. So it's just perfect for the body. So that is my recommendation. I would search for a cleanser that has glycolic acid. It can be mandelic acid if you like it. It can be lactic acid. As long as it's some form of an AHA, that's great, because it will have the acidifying power and support the acid mantle of your skin barrier throughout your entire body. So it's really important to search for an acidified wash. It doesn't have to be mandelic acid, contrary to popular belief, but mandelic acid is a more gentle AHA, which is why it's typically recommended, because it's more tolerable for sensitive skin. So if you do have sensitive skin, I would reach for mandelic acid. I know the other popular one on the market is by Lumi. I heard that the founder is incredibly or the owner or something of that nature is like MAGA. So I don't use them either. Used to use them, cut my ties. But my point is if you can find through a Google search a mandelic acid wash, vet out the brand, double check their morals. I do have a video on my TikTok of some other brands that do have body washes that are acidified. Necessaire does. Great brand. I use their scalp serum. Love Necessaire. I think Method has one that's affordable. I did want to throw in an affordable option. There are a few others. Watch that video on my TikTok. It's somewhere on there. It's not too far back. I'm not a fan of Dr. Bronner's Castle soap. And then on the feminine wash, the PhD boric acid, not a fan. I think it's just mainly gimmicky. There's not too much to say on this that I feel like you guys probably don't already know my stance on, but boric acid does not belong in a wash. Boric acid doesn't do anything in a feminine wash. Any wash on the store shelves that has boric acid in it that's marketed towards vaginal health and balancing your pH is literally just gimmicky. Boric acid is a suppository that you insert in the vagina, and it can have a benefit occasionally if you are struggling with biofilms. It can break up a biofilm if you're struggling with recurrent BV or recurrent yeast infections, but I do not recommend using boric acid after your period or every single time that you're going to have sex to freshen up and things like that. Boric acid does not replace good bacteria. It does not rebalance your vaginal pH. It dries out your vaginal tissue, which is why I only recommend it if you are diagnosed with BV or a yeast infection. You're prescribed antibiotics or an antifungal for either infection, and the only time I recommend using it is before your pharmaceutical medication to disrupt the biofilm, then you can use the antibiotics or the antifungal, and then you need to go in with probiotics. And after that, the only thing I would continue using is probiotics. I do not support boric acid for regular long-term use. It dries out the vaginal tissue, and that's arguably one of the worst things you can do to your vaginal canals. So I'm already not a fan of boric acid in general, but then when I see brands put it in a wash, if boric acid has possible use or helpfulness, it being inserted in the vagina, then how does it even remotely help as a wash? The answer is it doesn't. Like it doesn't help. That's why I just don't understand. Like, honestly, I do understand they're just gimmicky. These brands know nothing about vaginal health and just want to make a product that's playing up on like a trend, which is boric acid is trendy. Everybody knows about boric acid and here's how wonderful it is for vaginal health. And so they just put it in this cleanser that's pretty shitty and then just market it to balance your vaginal pH. And people really think that because boric acid is an acid and they know that the vagina is supposed to be acidic, they think, oh my God, this is going to balance my vaginal pH. And it's not. Your vaginal pH is balanced because of good bacteria, lactobacillus bacteria that produces lactic acid. I'm not a fan of the PhD boric acid cleanser. I would swap that. So already I just don't like the body wash she's using, the Castile soap, and I'm not a fan of the feminine wash being used.
Definitely has to be the best option. I cleanse the area thoroughly, and rather than rinsing it off, I let it sit for a second while I follow with my second layer, which is going to be a hydrating wash, and then I follow that with my exfoliating gloves using a shower gel.
She lets the PhD boric acid cleanser sit and then follows up on her body while it's sitting on her vulva. She's following up with a hydrating cleanser and then goes in to exfoliate. My thought immediately is letting a cleanser or a feminine wash that has boric acid and probably some other shitty ingredients to sit on the vulva region is probably not doing the vulva any benefits. I mean, even with my cleanser, with how gentle it is, the one that I formulated, it has ceramides, it has ferments, and it's panthenol. It's very like healing to the vulvar tissue. And even then, like, it doesn't need to be sitting there. Like, it doesn't add extra cleansing power. If anything, something like this wash, the PhD one, can add more irritation and increase the risk of dermatitis. I don't understand that logic. And then on the body care, I don't think it makes sense to go in with something hydrating and then go in with exfoliation because like you're irritating the skin. Like if anything, I would exfoliate first and then I would do like a hydrating cleanser. She's saying she only is exfoliating or this is her routine post period. Yeah, I think a hydrating body cleanser is great, but I think you can hydrate outside of the shower if you want to use an acidified wash in the shower to prime your skin and support the acid mantle. And then when you get out the shower, hydrate with lotions. That I think is like a better routine than going in with so many washes of things that are just gonna wash off your body.
Of course, these are all unfragranced products. Now, when returning back to the area, there should really be no soap remaining, and if so, you can always rinse off any excess. I'm gonna go in and cleanse the area with an unfragranced liquid soap. This Dr. Bronner soap is my favorite. I like to emulsify it until it gets to this point. Just give the area a nice thorough cleanse, and that is my go-to.
Okay, so after she rinses off the boric acid PhD wash, she then goes in with the Dr. Bronner's Castile soap again, but only on the vulva to give it a good wash. And you don't need a double cleanse down there. You can with like the same wash. When I get in the shower, sometimes the first thing, and it might sound goofy, this might be TMI, but depending on when I'm showering, generally speaking, if I can go number 2 before I go in the shower, I prefer it. I feel better that way. Sometimes my gut and my digestive system is in line with my shower routine. And so I use the bathroom, and right when I get in the shower, the first thing I do is go in with Barrier Bar to cleanse the area, my genitals, that includes my butthole. I'm cleansing all of it. So I cleanse and then I'm washing my hair. There's conditioner. There are chances where as I'm rinsing the acidified body wash that it can maybe get on the vulva region. So at the end of my shower, I like to go in with Barrier Bar one more time. Barrier Bar is gentle enough that I can do this, but I I go in one more time to just make sure there's no residue from my acidified body wash. There's no conditioner. There's no or shave oil, because I use shave oil on my legs. Sometimes my thighs are touching, and I just want to make sure that the vulva doesn't have any unnecessary products. So I go in with my gentle cleanser one last time at the end of my shower. That is okay. But going in with 2 separate cleansers and the Castile soap being a high pH soap, a true soap, it is not meant for the vulva. Despite it saying it's baby soap, I don't recommend it for the vulva. The vulva has unique needs, and an acidic environment is best for the vulvar tissue and vulvar skin. I'm not a fan of Castile soap. Barrier Bar, for example, is acidified in the range that the vulva needs to be without it using any harsh AHAs. There's no mandelic acid, glycolic acid, or anything of that nature that's acidifying Barrier Bar, because that would be too harsh on the vulva. We used a citric acid titration to get it into the pH range at the end of manufacturing to make sure that the bar is the right pH range that's compatible with the vulva. That is safe for the skin. So I wouldn't go in with Castile soap. It's just not meant for the vulva, and it can raise the vulvar skin's pH and honestly cause more odor than you'd expect. All right, video number 2.
Okay, I'm about to leave my house and I need to take my morning supplements. Let's take them together. Starting with our olive oil and lemon shot. To eyeball it because I literally have no time. Oh my god, it's so hard. Not bad. Next up we have an immunity shot. This ones aren't that nasty. I actually like that brand. We have cocoa. Basically coconut cocoa, a spoonful. Okay, then we have some liquid cholesterol. I really like this. I've never tasted this before, so it's my first time. This tastes really good. We're gonna add this to the morning lineup. I'm gonna add electrolytes to my water when I leave. I have to go, so.
Okay, let's talk about the supplement routine. It says morning lineup to stay hot and healthy. I think the very first thing that she did was olive oil and a lemon shot. This one is probably the one that I think is the most useless. And I'm Middle Eastern. I'm hot up. Love olive oil, love lemons. I don't think that you need it on an empty stomach. I see this all the time, or I see people taking these shots. Maybe find recipes to incorporate olive oil. Olive oil is great. Lemons are great, but we can incorporate it. People start off with more water in the morning, and if putting lemon in it makes you feel better, put lemon in it. I think that that's fine. But I don't think that you have to hold your breath and chug down a little shot of olive oil with lemon for true health benefits, especially if you're following up with an immune boosting supplement or an immune boosting shot. These, generally speaking, have lemon in them or some kind of acidic base, so that sometimes it's orange juice, sometimes it's lemon juice, sometimes it's apple cider vinegar. But generally speaking, the base has that acidity and that tanginess, and it has turmeric and ginger and black pepper, cayenne. Those are good. I love me an immunity shot. I just took some last week while I was sick. I like it, but I feel that in itself already is providing some of the anti-inflammatory and the acidity and things like that the olive oil and the lemon is kind of useless. And then she's going in with coconut colt. I'm not gonna lie, I've seen this trend, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what coconut colt is. My understanding is it's probably coconut oil, and has it been fermented? And so there's maybe probiotics in it, to which I would just say, make a yogurt bowl and have breakfast. I don't know if this is all on an empty stomach. I don't know if she had breakfast, but I'm assuming the coconut colt probably has some level of probiotics in it. Either take a specialized probiotic or have yogurt. I take my probiotics with Maraquico's probiotics, and I have yogurt in the morning. I do a chia pudding. I think that that's fine. I don't think that you need coconut colt. And then she's taking colostrum. I know the understanding is it has immune support. I think there's other ways to support your immune system, one of them being zinc. I think that more people need to be taking zinc. I think more people need to be taking vitamin C, and I think more people need to be taking vitamin D. So zinc, vitamin D, and vitamin C are honestly better, well-studied, scientifically backed supplements that do support your immune system than kind of bringing all of these things in the mix when you probably could just do that instead. I was deficient in zinc for quite a bit of time, and I used to get sick all the time, and I think it's because of zinc. And people don't even think about taking zinc until they're sick, because all of those emergency gummies contain zinc inside of them. So it's oh, take zinc when you're sick. But I'm gonna be honest, at that point, if you're having a cold, it's a little too late. You missed the time to have enough zinc in your body. That should have already existed. So, and zinc also is really great for acne. In some studies, it has been been shown to help with acne and hormones. So my advice is, if you do want to give your body immune support, I would take zinc, vitamin C, and vitamin D. Just remember that vitamin D, it's best to take with a fattier meal because it's absorbed better. So I take vitamin D on days that I'm eating avocado toast in the morning. And then zinc, I take on days that I'm eating my chia pudding, and I will take it with vitamin C as well. Zinc is sometimes hard to absorb because it's like a mineral, and sometimes it doesn't get absorbed best when there is food in your body. However, if you do take it on an empty stomach, you can have GI symptoms like nausea and discomfort. So I haven't taken the chance or the risk. I was like, I'm not even going to risk it. But some people do. It's up to you. You can try it. If your body tolerates it fine on an empty stomach, great. Take zinc on an empty stomach so it's absorbed better. But if you need some food, eat some yogurt, you can, or some crackers or something just to help coat the stomach so that your stomach lining doesn't get irritated. Oh, and lastly, she talks about electrolytes. Electrolytes are probably the worst trend that I've seen on the internet because the average person does not need electrolytes every single day. I think people don't realize that electrolytes are intended for like intense workouts. If you are having like intense workouts, you are sweating, and even then, a hot Pilates class, a hot yoga class, it doesn't mean that you need electrolytes every single day. Your body is good with like minerals and hydration. Drink your water. I'm more concerned with people drinking water than I am with them adding these powders that have so many vitamins and minerals that they probably don't even need every single day. So like chill, you're fine. An electrolyte packet when you're sick. I drank Pedialyte last week when I was sick because I was dehydrated as hell. I was sweating from my fever so bad, like profusely sweating. If you're having diarrhea, that's another area where like you're probably having a lot of water loss. You can have electrolytes, but generally speaking, like exercise, your body is really good at like homeostasis and bringing it back to a place that is normal and balanced. The average person doesn't need electrolytes, that much of electrolytes every single day. A mild electrolyte drink like Gatorade can be fine, but these packets sometimes contain so much electrolytes for no reason. The average person does not need that. Honestly, again, if you want to replenish your body with something, I'd say vitamin C is probably the better route. So vitamin C, vitamin D, and zinc. That's what I would focus on. It seems like those are her concerns with immunity and gut health and hydration and nutrients. I would say like stick with those. And then I believe coconut coal is probably for her gut. Get a good probiotic like with Meraki Co. Shameless plug. But that's what I would do.
Things that I can't and will not go without. Let's get into it. Now we're going to start this off really, really strong because there's a lot of controversy centered around whether you're using a soap or just water on your hoo-ha. And I'm here to tell you right now that I will never, ever, 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 ever in my entire life be just a water girl. Now, of course, this doesn't go inside. I will forever be a pH balancing wash type of girl. That's just what it is with me. So this is my favorite one. This is the pH balance wash by Vagisil. It just keeps me fresh down there like all day long.
Okay, I do agree that I will never be just a water down there girl. The reason is because I'm a sweater. I'm young. I'm in my reproductive ages. So I have discharge. I have bodily fluid. All of these things are normal. Sweat is not dirty. Discharge is not dirty. That's the reality. I acknowledge like these are normal bodily fluids that exist in my genitals. The science, because I personally know the science, water alone is not a surfactant. It's not going to lift away. It's not forming micelles. It's not going to lift away the everyday bodily fluids. And that is okay. Cleansing is not misogynistic. Cleansing is not bad. But having the right cleanser is what's important. And I feel like a lot of these cleansers are not good. I'm not a fan of Vagisil or Summer's Eve. There have been studies showcasing that these specific washes have actually been capable of disrupting the vaginal microbiome because they've lessened the lactobacillus population. And I know you're probably thinking, oh, these go on the outside. How does it affect the inside? But the environment on the outside absolutely impacts the inside. I'm not a fan of these products. They have a lot of unnecessary ingredients, unnecessary fragrances. You do not need a fragrance wash. Barrier Bar is unscented for a reason. Like they have flowers on it and it says pH balance and all that. You don't need these floral smells and things like that. You don't need it. It's not necessary. I'm not a fan. I wouldn't reach for Vagisil. I feel like there's probably other brands out there that if you're not going to use Barrier Bar, there's probably some other ones that are better than Vagisil and Summer's Eve. believe. So I would not reach for it. I'm not mad at her wanting to have a cleanser of some sort. That is okay. I just wouldn't reach for this cleanser.
Keeps my overall microbiome healthy and thriving, and I love that. This one is safe to use. Next up on my list is just the Athena Club. This is the full body deodorant spray, and this one is in scent golden vanilla. I have a big chest. I'm heavy on the bottom too. I need an all over body deodorant.
The all over body deodorant from Athena Club is not bad. I've seen it. It has ingredients that are actually supportive of a microbiome. And then it does have, I believe, denatured alcohol in it. It can be a little irritating if you have sensitive skin. It does have fragrance in it. If you have sensitive skin, just beware. But generally speaking, I think it's microbiome friendly. It considers the microbiome. So I don't hate it. I agree with what she's saying in the sense of a lot of people have never thought, like, it's not an antiperspirant, so it's not going to stop you from sweating, but it's going to support your skin's environment so that odor becomes less favorable. And under our boobs is an area where there's heat, there's moisture, we sweat, and odor can form if the skin is not prepped properly. So putting a deodorant like this can be helpful. Same with the underarms, the back of the kneecaps, your feet. All of these are places where, generally speaking, odor can form because there's heat and there's moisture that can build there. And so when you prep the skin properly with this type of deodorant, you're less likely to notice some odor. This one in particular, there's some that I just don't like because it's like alcohol based and they're just like disinfectants. But this one I'm not mad at because it does consider the microbiome of the skin, which I love.
Next up on the list, I have been using this deodorant right here since 2022. This is the Donna Karan Cashmere Mist. I have been using this deodorant for a very long time. I only say that to let you know that I didn't buy it because it was trending. I actually like it. Like,
no notes because it's an antiperspirant. I think everybody should be using antiperspirants. There's so much fear mongering around antiperspirants where people are like, oh my God, it causes breast cancer and things like that. Don't listen to that. It's the same type of thing with the whole fluoride situation. And they're like, fluoride causes cancer and it's toxic and it's a carcinogen. And look, guys, fluoride's okay to use. Please, I don't want you guys getting cavities. The same applies to antiperspirants. A lot of people I feel like are struggling to find like a good deodorant because that's all they're looking for is a deodorant, and they're not thinking of antiperspirants. Under your arms, it's okay to block a sweat gland to help reduce sweating so that there's less odor and less wetness. Like, that's okay. So antiperspirants are fine. Whatever works for you is great. I've never used this one. I've seen it because it's trendy, but I've never used it. But if it works for her, that's great. I do recommend antiperspirants under the arms, especially in the summertime.
another hot take here lately has been antibacterial soap. This is the Dove antibacterial care. I will use the Dial also, but I'm just here to tell you right now, I like antibacterial soap. For the most part, like that rear end back there, like that back, like that back there, like it's never gonna miss an antibacterial soap wash down every day.
No, like just no. Like Barrier Bar is a cleanser. It's enough to clean the butthole. No notes. Like, you guys know how I feel about antibacterial soap. It's not necessary. It's not necessary. It's the same concern with the pH of your skin. It's the same concern with antibiotic resistance. It's the same concern with the marketing. Like, why do we feel our genitals need to be disinfected? Even your butthole, yes, there's shit and there's E. coli. It doesn't need to be disinfected though. A cleanser lifts it away. That is okay. You can use a regular cleanser. The cleanser that you use on your vulva can be used on your genitals. Stay away from the antibacterial soap, please. I hate this rhetoric. You don't need it.
Another one of the Amber Ude Parfums by Nemat. I'm a gourmand girly through and through. Heavy cream type.
This is fine. She's talking about her favorite perfume. You could use whatever you like. If you like a body mist, perfume, doesn't matter to me. Use what you like. You're allowed to smell good with your fragrances and your body lotions.
And last but definitely not least, these organic diapers. Yeah, I grab these up religiously, like whenever I see them. I am terrified of tampons. I will use them, don't get me wrong, because like I said, I do work out. So if it's just, if I don't have any clean sweatpants that can cover up the fact that I'm wearing a diaper and I have to wear gym leggings, then I will, use a tampon. But that is not my preferred choice.
I've never tried. I guess they're like underwear, cotton cover underwear. I honestly, instead of this, I'd rather just like period underwear. I feel like period underwear is great. I would use that instead of like buying these. They're like disposable. I just think there's more waste. They're like single use. I feel like when it comes to period underwear, you can reuse it. So I'd probably just do that instead. In my opinion, just stick with like a period underwear, or if you're going to use disposables, like just use a pad. I know Raelle has that. I mean, these type of underwears are comfortable for you, then you can just get these. I just feel like if you're gonna wear some type of underwear for your period, you might as well stop the waste and just get period underwear. There's some great ones on the market, so I would do that instead. I don't use tampons myself, so to each their own, but trying to find cotton pads, tampons, underwears is always what I advise. The thing with Raelle and even Cora's, I did used to love them, but their pads only have a top cotton sheet. The core is not cotton. So it's just the very top that comes into contact with your vagina is cotton. But I personally want cotton the whole way through. I actually started using the brand Inertia. They're a Korean brand. I really like them. I've used them for the last 2 cycles. I haven't had any irritation or anything of that nature. So I really like them. And that's what I would recommend. Okay, next video.
Okay, I'm realizing a discussion needs to be had, and I don't necessarily want to be the one to begin this conversation, but unfortunately I think I have to be, because I'm realizing the issue probably stems from the fact that no one's talking about it. Let's just get into it. Every time I enter the women's public restrooms, I realize that you guys need to stop focusing so much on your skincare and focus a little bit more on your pussy care. Because the smells that I'm smelling in that bathroom are not normal and they are concerning.
Oh.
I'm genuinely trying to be a girl's girl. I'm trying to help. I know sometimes I can come across as condescending and sarcastic. I'm being dead fucking serious. Because maybe some of you don't have best friends. Maybe some of you don't have female figures or motherly figure, or maybe you were raised by a single dad who never taught you these things. And I feel like I'm qualified to give you some tips and advice, because I've never had a UTI, I've never had a yeast infection. God, don't even fucking start with me.
Bathrooms in general smell like ass. Yeah, I mean, sometimes I walk into the women's bathroom, I'm like, holy shit, but maybe someone has an infection. I mean, it's not bad to present new and helpful information in this way, I don't think. I just think the way she start like, hey guys, your pussies stink, that's kind of crazy. Your vagina doesn't have to stink to have UTIs, yeast infections, or BV. Sometimes people with BV are asymptomatic. Contrary to popular belief, people always think BV equals fishy vagina. That is not always the case. Up to 70% of women are asymptomatic. There's no symptoms. Odor is also a symptom. Many women don't even have a symptom. They don't have an odor. They don't smell anything different. It doesn't always equate, like even with UTIs, like having a UTI doesn't mean your vagina is smelly. Having a yeast infection doesn't mean your vagina is smelly. A pH imbalance can have a foul odor. I think a lot of times, like people's, if anything, their guts and their shit probably smells nasty because they took a dump and their gut is probably, they have poor GI health. That's probably what's smelly. I don't know if that's like a new take here, but yeah, I don't know. But I'm curious to see what her like suggestions are for vaginal health.
Stop using tampons. There is no reason why dried blood should be held in your vaginal canal for hours at a time on a little cotton stick. Use pads.
I personally don't use tampons. The reason I don't use tampons transparently is because, again, from a scientific perspective, I have very heavy flows. Okay, so I don't know for those of you who have lighter flows, but I don't think that holding blood in the vaginal canal, vaginal tissue is already moisturized, but having a material, even if it is cotton, inside of the vagina and having the blood soak in there, I don't think is good for the microbiome. I just don't. I don't think it's healthy for the tissue. I don't think it's healthy for the living bacteria. I just don't think it's the best. So I like to actually have the blood come out of me. So I wear pads and I use 100% cotton pads. The brand Inertia is the one I use, or period underwear for those of you who enjoy that. That's a great option. So I do like the idea of it coming out. Now the thing is why I don't use period underwear is because Again, I have heavy flows. The idea of menstrual blood sitting, especially because it can dry. It's not that it's dirty. Your uterine lining is also shedding. So it's essentially tissue that is also coming out of your uterus and out of your vagina, which is all normal. It is not dirty. It is not disgusting. It's a blessing to be able to have a period. I recognize all of that. And I have to give these disclaimers before somebody like freaks out. It is a blessing to have a period. I am not saying like periods are not dirty. They're incredibly healthy. Like they're not dirty whatsoever. Blood dries up and it can become a hygiene issue, especially if you're someone who, let's say, doesn't shave or doesn't groom down there, which is also completely fine. The blood can dry up and cling to the hairs and it can eventually cause odor. My advice is use something where you can like regularly clean up the blood. Pads are the easiest for me because you just don't want to leave it in the genital region, especially if you do have to go number 2 throughout the day. Bidets are not as popular in the United States as they are everywhere else in the world. So not everybody uses a bidet, especially in public settings. So if you poop and you're dry wiping and then there's blood everywhere and it's messy, you're mixing different fluids, it can disrupt the vaginal environment. It's not the best for the vulva. So I just think pads are probably the easiest way so that you're not sitting in a pool of blood all the time. You can change those to your liking, and also using water wipes throughout the day. So nothing crazy. It's not dirty, just to keep up with the hygiene. Sitting with a pad for a very long time can start to smell. Sitting with a pad for a very long time can dry up the area and cause irritation. So it's not just tampons, it's also pads as well. But pads, you can kind of control that a little bit better because you can change them more frequently. You can change tampons more frequently as well, but I think it can be a little more irritating to the vaginal tissue inside and the epithelial cells and things of that nature. So I'm not the biggest fan of tampons. I've never used one. I have no plans to ever use one. I just prefer pads, especially with how heavy my flow is.
Quit having her all cooped up all the time. Let her breathe. Set her free.
Okay. Especially at
Next,
night. She says let her breathe, and I think she's talking about at night, which is a great tip. I don't mind that. Let her breathe at night. Don't wear underwear. Just put on your PJs, loose PJs, and let the vulva breathe. That's a good tip. I recommend that.
Wear cotton underwear. Also, stop using the special washes and the pH.
Okay, so cotton underwear, I can agree. You should wear cotton underwear. Who has a brand that I like? There's some cotton underwear options on Amazon. They're like 99% cotton. And then they have like a little bit of elastic, some kind of elastane at the top so that the band can go around the waist. That is fine. Just try to aim for the highest amount of cotton that you possibly can have. I love cotton underwear. I always recommend it. And you can find them on Amazon.
Balancing washes, because I actually have a theory that they fuck you up even more.
And they do.
Use those, and like I said, I've never had an issue down there.
Yes, the pH balancing washes that you can find at the store, they cause more harm than good. 100%. She's not wrong about that.
The steamers that you use for your face for facials, use that down there. Give her a good steam with herbs and flowers. She'll love it.
So it's ironic that she's like, you don't need any of those pH balancing washes, but then you need to put like herbs and steams and scents and stuff. I don't think you need to do vaginal steaming. Vaginal steaming can be nice, especially like if you're pregnant. Perineal massages and things like that to relax the muscle is great. It can help relax your pelvic floor. I'm sure it can be very nice, but I don't think it's a need. And it's certainly not proven to like improve vaginal health. If it feels good for you, great. I wouldn't put any scents, lavenders or essential oil or anything like that. Just like a good steam might feel good, and that's about it. But I just find it interesting that she's like, no washes, but vaginal steaming. I don't know about that.
Speaking of shower, when you get out of the shower, make sure she's dry completely. Completely dry. If you have to use a blow dryer, use a blow dryer. Make sure she's dry before you put clothing on, because if you put clothing on a moist, open area, that is breeding ground for bacteria.
She is not wrong. I agree that when you get out of the shower, make sure that your vulva is completely dry. Putting on clothes over a moist environment. And this is also on my period. I do this. On my period, it's hard because I'm like, I don't want to get blood on my white towels. I have a paper towel that I put when I get out the shower on the rack that's right next to my towel. And I will make sure that while I'm standing in the shower, I open up my labia in case I drip, and I like tap like the labia majora, like the lips of the vulva, the groin area, and then the perineum space, the butthole. I dry it all off with a gentle paper towel, and then I throw that away and I dry off the rest of my body, but I make sure that it's completely dry before putting on a pad and putting on my underwear, because I do not want a moist environment. Again, I'm a sweater, heat traps there, so it can become a breeding ground for microbes. So just something to be mindful of if you struggle with yeast infections or UTIs or BV, something to consider. Make sure it is dry. So that was it, guys. That was the video. I hope that you guys enjoyed this. If there are more videos that you want me to react to, make sure that you tag me and I can always do like another episode like this. You guys loved the last one, so I had to do another one. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye, guys.